Close brace. For JavaScript developers, by JavaScript developers. Welcome back. In our last tutorial, we talked about installing and setting up Sublime text. Now we're going to get it ready for Node and React development. We're going to do that by adding packages, which are independent plugins that can enhance Sublime's functionality. We're going to do that by using Sublime's built-in package control system, which is pretty great. We're going to need a few specific things to get started. The first is syntax highlighting for JSX, which is the language we'll be using for React development. It's a combination of JavaScript and HTML, and the first time you see it, you will probably recoil in horror, but give it a chance. It's clear and concise, and it makes for incredibly readable code. We'll be getting to JSX in later tutorials, though. Right now, we're just installing the syntax highlighting package. So first we hit Command-Shift-P in Sublime Text to bring up the command palette. In Windows, it's Control-Shift-P. And quickly search for Install Package. As you can see, by the time you've typed inst, it'll be the first thing available. By the way, the command palette is awesome and incredibly functional. You could write an entire tutorial set on it. And in fact, Wes Bos did just that in his excellent Sublime Text Power User tutorial set, which includes a book and about 24 videos. You can find a link to it in the YouTube description. Anyway, click on Install Package. There's a few second wait as it loads all of the possible packages. Then type Babel to bring up a list of matching packages. The one we want is Syntax Definitions for ES6 JavaScript with react.js extensions. Just click to install. You can see in the bottom left that it's installing. Takes a few seconds tops. No need to restart Sublime or anything, although you might have to reopen any JSX files you already have open, which is probably none, or manually switch them to Babel JavaScript using the syntax switcher at the bottom right. Babel JavaScript. An added bonus of installing this package is that it also delivers highlighting for ES7, which is the latest version of JavaScript. Well, sort of. There are even more advanced versions, but those standards are still in flux, so we're going to stick with what's been officially approved for now. When ES8, or as it's less commonly known, ECMAScript 2017, is fully locked down and supported, I'll do a tutorial on that, because it's got some pretty great new additions to the language. We're going to need a bit more syntax highlighting. We'll be using Sass in this tutorial to establish a basic CSS skeleton. Sublime doesn't support it natively, so back we go to Command-Shift-P, install, and then type Sass. You want the one labeled Sass support for TextMate and Sublime text. There are also full build systems for Sass that incorporate with Sublime, but we're going to eschew those in favor of bundling everything with Webpack. More on that in a later tutorial. Alright, Sass is installed and we're done with syntax. Now we want a lint. There's an absolutely awesome ESLint package for Sublime Text that will give you real-time linting, showing you any errors you might be making as you're making them, and helping you save time versus running linting scripts manually. Though doing that is always a good idea too. Don't worry, we'll cover it. Linting helps you keep your code consistently formatted across dozens of files and who knows how many potential authors. The best thing about this plugin is that it will use whatever ESLint settings you configure for your project, so you don't even have to do things twice. So, back to the command palette with Command-Shift-P. Then choose Install Packages, then type ESLint, and find Sublime Linter contrib ESLint. There it is. You'll also see Sublime Linter contrib ESLint _d, but you can ignore that. We want the regular one, which is at version 1.10.0. Click it, let it install, and you're good to go. As you can see, this brings up a package control message which gives you installation instructions for this particular package. We're not going to cover that in this video because we're not writing any JavaScript today, but we'll cover it when we get closer to actually doing React development. Before we wrap things up, let's talk about snippets for a second. There are some really excellent packages for Sublime that allow you to type a few characters, hit tab, and get a whole ton of code auto-generated for you. It's incredibly handy once you've got the basics of React down, and I will very likely do a tutorial on it in the future. But for now, we're going to start off hand coding everything so that you really get a feel for what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that's about it. You're set up for development. Let's get Node installed. See you in the next tutorial.